Welcome to exciting skating action featuring the Chiefs and the Jolters. This is the championship round game coming your way from the Cow Palace in San Francisco. This is Walt Harris and Jerry Seltzer to call the action. And we're picking up that action in the first period of play here in the first half with the score, the Chiefs 1 and the Jolters 0. And we have 8 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the first period of play. And right now we have a jam underway. Out and moving, Judy McGuire, the flashing blonde, 45. And out moving to the Rose Duran, number 4. Spitfire jammer for the Jolters, who leaves Judy McGuire on the rail. So the only threat now is a Jolter skater. Two visiting teams skating here in San Francisco in this game. The Chiefs and the Jolters. The Jolter jammer coming up in the pack, Rose Duran, number 4. Back to the block. Looks like Barbara Baker. No, it's Carolyn Moreland. Carolyn Moreland here for the Chiefs, number 43. Sandy Dunn is out of this game with a sprained ankle. Carolyn Moreland taking over the blocking chore, and she's doing a great job. Judy McGuire runs into her, though, and she goes down, and I think she's passed. The McGuire pinned on the rail by Jan Vallow, and that's another point for Duran. Now she's picking up another point, blocking in there by Baker and Ortiz. And it's 3 big points in there for the Jolters, and they move out in front 3-1 over the Chiefs. Well, Jerry, what can we look for in this kind of a game?
Well, of course, the Jolters traditionally a very rough skating team with Jan Vallow. The Chiefs a little more speedy, but it's certainly in the men's field. The Jolters' size has to be impressive. Cal Stevens, Jerry Cattell, JoJo Stafford, Gibson. And this rookie Moore, who's only been skating really, I believe, a little over a month for the Jolters, I think is the best looking prospect to come along this season.
He doesn't look like a beginner. You just take for granted that he's one of their good players when you see him in action out there. Starting this well, give him a year, and what do you have? Here we go on the jam. Gail Byrne out, number 9 for the Jolters. She's got company. Number 48 going out for the Chiefs on the play is Dolores Roberson, the Rookie of the Year. So each team with a jammer out and moving on the play. The Jolters lead at 3-1. We're in the first period of play. A lot of stations will present the last half immediately. Some will not present it until next week. But you will get a chance to see this complete game between the Chiefs and the Jolters. Jolters, one of the tougher, more physical clubs in the league. They have Jan Vallow out there in the girls' field. And Jerry mentioned some of the men. It's a big bruising squad. Gail Byrne out there, towering over Dolores Roberson, sends her into the rail. Roberson moving on the pack now, and back to the block again, Carolyn Moreland, number 43. Carolyn with a block on Gail Byrne. And you got to go, son, to get by Carolyn. She is a great one. Another block in there by Moreland, slowing her down and putting Gail Byrne up near the rail. Jan Vallow back to the block on Roberson. Puts her on the deck. Now Vallow moving up to give her teammates some help. She's moving on Carolyn Moreland. Big Jan Vallow. Moreland, beautiful step. Gets away from Vallow's block. It's over, and I think no points. That is it. No points scored on that jam. It remains a Jolters 3 and the Chiefs 1. Carolyn Moreland doing a fine job. And Jerry, you have to admit that she's a very pretty girl to be out there in this kind of a tough game.
Well, of course, Carolyn Moreland, a roller derby queen, and maybe that would be enough for her with her beauty, but Sandy Dunn has that sprained ankle, is coaching from the infield, the women's squad. Carolyn Moreland really coming through, and of course the men's squad, that's going to be something for the Chief fans to see. Bob Woodbury now in that lineup, and he certainly has added a great deal of defensive strength. They're going to be meeting this Jolter team in one of their home series coming up in the East, the Chiefs are, and that's something for the fans to look forward to.
People still pouring in here at the Cow Palace in San Francisco. We can see you directly opposite the front door, and they're coming in. They're lined up outside. Judy McGuire on the move, the flashing blonde here. One of the great jammers in this league. Looking back, she's got 2 Jolters, Pam Kaniva and Rose Duran behind her. She cuts it off as they get up there, outnumbered 2-1. A good move by Judy McGuire. She made the Jolter jammers work to get up with her. Then she cut off the jam. So she is still fresh. They will probably have to go to the infield for a brief rest. If they stay in the pack and block, they're still just a little bit winded. Good move in there by Judy McGuire. 4:22 to go here in this period.
Little thing about the Cow Palace, of course, the Western record for roller derby is held here. 15,280 fans poured in here one evening, Walt. This huge building. The Eastern record, of course, 19,507 indoor set at Madison Square Garden. A couple of good outdoor crowds, too, we've seen in our time.
Again, Judy McGuire, and again the same 2 girls in pursuit, Pam Kaniva and Rose Duran. Judy taking it easy now. Taking it easy, McGuire, not pressing, letting him get up. There's the hand. She didn't put him down, though. She didn't put him on the hips, and she's got a point. Moreland slammed Jan Vallow into the rail with a block. Judy McGuire went by for a point, then cut off the jam. And Duran doesn't like it. And there's a knee by Rose Duran.
Look at Jerry Cattell in the infield there. He is really protesting the infield to the referee, Dave Cannella. Said she obviously cut it off, and even if she didn't, the intent was to cut it off, and the officials should stop the play. But those kind of arguments don't get anywhere.
How'd you like to have to call penalties on intent? That makes the score 3-2 here. The Jolters still lead the Chiefs. The Chiefs did pick up 1 point there. The packs being formed and play will get underway again. Jan Vallow up front with the face mask on, the big pivot skater here. Probably the toughest gal on skates. She's really something.
You think she's tougher than Ann Calvello?
Well, she's younger.
You know, there's a hot rumor that Ann Calvello may take over as coach of this Jolter team, but that would be something.
Calvello in infield and Vallow on the track. Oh, boy. So Vallow's out on the jam now all by herself. Jan Vallow moving with a great deal of speed. Lost about 30 pounds this past year, at least that. She was good before then. Judy McGuire there to block 45. Carolyn Moden 43, and they're closing the pass there to Jan Vallow, who's trying to fight her way through. They're not holding hands on this block, just crossing them at the wrist, and Vallow cannot get through. And jammers are coming around for the Chiefs on the play. Pulled through, Vallow. Pulled through for 2 points. Vallow finally pulled through by a teammate, picking up 2 points, making the score now the Jolters 5 and the Chiefs 2. We have 1:55 to go here in this first period of play. The Cow Palace in a championship round game.
Of course, if you're watching in color, you have no trouble telling these teams apart. The Chiefs in the green and gold and the word Chiefs across the front. The Jolters in the brown down the center and the blue outer parts of the uniform. But black and white is a little bit similar. The Chiefs numerical series is in the 40s. The Jolters from 2 to 9. So if you can't tell any other way, that's one way to do it.
What if you can't count?
Then you shouldn't be watching. You don't even know what channel you're watching that well.
Here we go on the jam. 4 skaters are out that can score points. They're all 4 jammers. Rose Duran, Pam Kaniva. Here comes McGuire, and right behind her, Jan Vallow. And they go sailing by the jammers, and McGuire cuts the inside. Vallow hits a skater. All 5 go down. The 4 jammers and Vallow. So the only girl moving on the play that can score, and the Chief is down and hurt, is Judy McGuire. I think that's Moreland who's down and hurt. Vallow blocking, Kaniva blocking, Judy McGuire in scoring position. Blocking things over back there. Claudia Hodby, 49, will do some blocking. She's not in scoring position, just Judy McGuire, number 45 for the Chiefs. He's the only one in scoring position. Turning around, look out. There they go. And McGuire is still on her skates. Has 2. She has another one. Could be 3. It is 3 Chief points. A great play by Claudia Hodby and Judy McGuire that time. That ties up the score at 5-5 with just 14 seconds to go here in the first period of play. Hodby turned around that time in that play, spread her legs. Judy McGuire went right between them, passing the 2 skaters for the Jolters. Stayed on her skates and went for another one, and the Chief is down at the other end. Debbie Thompson on the track here. She's got a bad case of bronchitis. She missed their last game, but she said she really wanted to be out in the championship round game, and she was going to get out there and help the team in whatever way she could. But Debbie Thompson, the doctor's orders not to skate, but she is out there for the Chiefs. She's that kind of a gal, but this Chief club is loaded with that kind of talent. They always give it everything they've got. Well, we're going to get the men on the track now for the second period of play as we find the score here at the end of the first period. The Chiefs 5 and the Jolters 5. Walt Harris and Jerry Seltzer here at the Cow Palace in San Francisco. We have a championship round game underway between the Chiefs and the Jolters, and it's 5-5 as we're moving into the second period of play. And we have the men out there. That means Bill Grohl is up there, number 49 for the Chiefs, as he waves over here. Joe Perez, Larry Lee, and Bob Woodbury, number 40. He's got a little receiver in his helmet. Here we go. The Jolters have 5. The Chiefs have 4. There's a penalty handed out to a member of the girls' team on the Chiefs. That means a man has to set it out. And Bob Woodbury is out. Joe Stafford in pursuit. Stafford, a veteran skater, has got a man out there now that can go with him, though. Hey, I tell you, he can go with him. Bob Woodbury, who can do it if he can stay on the track and keep his temper. The newest member of this Chief club, just working his way into the lineup, learning their plays. He's got Bill Grohl to block for, number 49. Jerry Cattell, the blonde tiger, back there for the Jolters, number 9. Big man. and they're moving on him. Watch 48, Bob Woodbury. He's the man that can score. They're crisscrossing behind Jerry Cattell. Jerry's head on a swivel trying to keep track of who's who and where they are. There they are. Bill Groh with the block. Woodbury goes by for one. Moving now on Stafford, who's back in the pack. Stafford blocking there. Stevens came up on the jam for the Jolters, but as he got up there, Woodbury cut it off. So Woodbury picked up the point in there for the Chiefs to give them the lead 6-5 over the Jolters with 9:47 to go in the second period of play. Woodbury is very casual about that jam, Jerry.
Well, and the odd thing was he's getting more cheers than jeers here. He's not one of the more favorite people here in the San Francisco Bay Area. But that's going to show some versatility for that Chief attack, because really the biggest man on that team has been Bill Grohl, and he's not terribly large. I mean, he's 5'10". And then from then, Sam Tiapula, who is injured, he's not in this game. Larry Lee, who is taller than Bill Grohl, but very, very lean, and a lot of small jammers.
Here we go on the jam. It's Early John out. John Early on the jam, number 47, and chasing him, Charlie Gibson, number 5 for the Jolters. Each team has a jammer out on the play. Right behind John Early now is Charlie Gibson, who's another great-looking youngster in this Jolter club. He's got size and ability, and there is some of the ability. Bill Grohl blocking now on Gibson, number 5. JoJo Stafford, number 7, back to keeping an eye on John Early, number 47. There's his block on John Early. Into the rail he goes. Other jammers are out and moving with it. Gibson fighting his way behind the blocking of Jerry Cattell and Cal Stevens. 3 points in there on the play. Gibson getting the room. Jerry Cattell and Cal Stevens, the two big guns on this Jolter club, did the blocking. And the Jolters go back in front 8-6. Cal Stevens, number 8, big man, wears the pivot helmet, 220 pounds. Strongest man on skates. Jerry Cattell, 205, 210, about 6'2½". They're big. A lot of size on this Jolter club. 8-6 to score. The Jolters lead the Chiefs in a championship round game. Remember, we'll have an interview at the end of the half. Backs form, the players line up, the jammers starting from the rear of the pack. Joe Perez is out of there first, 43. 60 seconds starts to tick off. At the end of that time, this jam will end. During that time, his job, get around that track, catch up with the pack, and then for each member of the opposing team he passes, he will get credit for a point. Very easy to keep track of how you score in this game. Yet I run into people all the time that say, how do you score in that game? Well, this man, Joe Perez, when he catches up with that pack, for every member of the Jolters he passes, he will get a point. He actually is lapping that man, because remember, he started from the rear of the pack. Now he's up there. If he should get by Cal Stevens, that would be 1 point, but that's a hard one to get. Stafford, number 7, grabs the lead in the jam for the Jolters. Same story for him. For every Chief he passes, he will get a point now. Bill Grohl is trying to block him out. There's Bill Grohl, 49. There's Stafford, number 7. There they are. Move into the turn and out of the turn. Early spun around by Cal Stevens. Stevens waiting for him. Down is Stafford, put there by Bill Grohl. Still no points have been scored. The jammers are yet to pass a man on the opposing team. 3, 2, 1, and that's it. Just as it ended, Grohl with the block on Stevens, Stevens to the Stafford, and they both went down. Score stays at 8-6. The Jolters out in front. Jerry, you might remind the people, too, how they score, because it's still amazing to me the amount of people that I run into, and they say, how do you score in that game? Yet it seems so simple. Maybe it seems simple to us.
Well, of course, it is, you say, well, it's very obvious. So at the start of each play, there are the two solid color helmets in the front, the pivot skaters. The black helmets right behind them, the solid blockers, and then the striped helmet skaters, they are the jammers. Now, that sounds confusing, but it really isn't. All they have to do is get out of that pack, circle the track. For each member of the opposing team they pass, they get a point. That's it. No balls to handle, and no bats or no gloves. Maybe that confuses people. All they have to do is gain a lap, pass them, they get a point.
Oh, down hard into the turn. Mike Gammon. He's up again with a big lead now as Charlie Gibson, number 5 for the Jolters. And this guy, boy, he's a coming star. You just have to face it. He's being blocked out now by Bill Grohl, who is a star. Mike Gammon, one of the greats, with a beautiful jump block on Gibson. Gammon moving behind Bill Grohl now. Grohl blocking on Jerry Cattell. Gammon in there to the inside for 3, 4, I think. 4 points for Mike Gammon. That shows you this man's ability. He went down in a bad fall at the other end of the track. Got up, still got in there, and picked up 4 points. Great blocking in there by Bill Grohl, Larry Lee and company on that play, though. And Cattell belts Mike Gammon down, and Larry Lee is after him. And Lee is belted by big Jerry Cattell. I tell you, look at the size of a man before you go take after him. And that's what Cattell did as Bill Grohl took after him. Cattell got out of there.
1 minute penalty, slugging. Jerry Cattell and Larry Lee.
Larry Lee drew a penalty. Jerry Cattell drew a penalty.
Well, just in case, Walt, the fans don't fully understand about the rules, if you'd like to get a free copy or put your name on the mailing list and receive special advance information about upcoming games in your area, write to Roller Derby, mailing list or rules, Post Office Box 1828, Oakland, California, 94604. Please include your zip code and the station on which you are now watching this program.
Very good score, 10-8. The Chiefs on top after that last 4-point play. Mike Moore on in the jam with Joe Perez 43, and out there is Bob Woodbury. He's being blocked by JoJo Stafford. Woodbury and Stafford mixing it up as they go along there, both trying to get the advantage on the other. Finally, Stafford is down. There's the pack. Stafford and Woodbury battling again. There's your lead jammer, Joe Perez, moving in a pack. There's Cal Stevens, number 8, to block.
35 seconds left to go in jam time. It'll be Cal Stevens.
Cal Stevens has offers football scholarships, but he said this was his game. He hasn't regretted it. Some of the skaters have, though. Perez, for instance, right now, recipient of these hard blocks by muscle man Cal Stevens again.
17 seconds remaining in the jam.
And again in there. Here comes Bob Woodbury on the jam. He jumps on Stevens' back. Perez falls over the top of him. Officials have to call the points. Woodbury slammed hard in the rail by Stevens. Perez gets an elbow. Mike Moore up there, but time runs out. How many? No points, they say. I thought Perez tripped and went over the top of Cal Stevens down there. That would have put him on the other side, unless the officials say he was half off the track when he did so. You cannot hit the infield when you pass for a point. You must stay on the track.
I think we saw something there. Cal Stevens, how can you say he's underrated, Walt? Because you keep talking about him. But he's so young, it's hard to believe he's so good. Number 8 there. He can jam, probably with any jammer in the league. And his blocking ability on that play was just fantastic. You remember, he's going 40 miles an hour, blocking on a jammer, and suddenly another one comes up on him.
Well, we've seen big men come into the league before, and it takes them a long time to reach their peak. But it was not the case with Cal Stevens. This guy has so much ability. He was a star overnight. That is a real rarity with a big man. Gibson out on the jam with him, Early John. 10-8 is the score. The Chiefs lead the Jolters. John Early, 47, moving behind Charlie Gibson, number 5. Early John in there with the block. He's going to work on him. He's warned for grabbing and a penalty called on John Early. He's heading for that referee right now in the infield. While Gibson's trying to score, and he does. Bill Grohl blocked out by Stafford and Cattell. More blocking by Cattell on Larry Lee, and another point. Could be 3. Stafford going at it over there now. He's clobbered by Bill Grohl. Bill lays another right hand in there. Leaves Stafford on the deck. That was 3 points on the play, though, for the Jolters, and they go back in front of the Chiefs 11-10 with 2:07 to go here in the second period of play in the first half.
Jolters obviously a very physical team, and actually JoJo Stafford, who took Bill Grohl on there, is the 4th smallest man on this team. They can put a starting lineup out there that's almost 1,000 pounds, Walt, and for roller derby, as you know, that's pretty unusual.
And there were 3 Jolter points scored.
11-10 to score, a minute 38 to go in this period. A championship round game. Remember, we'll have an interview at the end of the half.
Back being reorganized. Whistle sounds.
Out of there first, it's Larry Lee, 44, on the move for the Chiefs. Mike Moore, number 4, in pursuit. So each team is a jammer out on the play. There are 4 Jolters out there. There are 3 Chiefs. Penalties handed out in that period. On that last jam. Cut the amount of manpower down out there on the track. Mike Moore is Larry Lee with nice skating, got away from him. Woodbury down for a moment, is up and moving again. Jerry Cattell, number 9, blocking on Larry Lee. Bob Woodbury blocking there on Mike Moore, number 4. Watch Woodbury hammer him with a block. Another block on Mike Moore, number 4 by Woodbury. There's Cattell trying to move out Woodbury. There's points scored in there by Moore. Larry Lee also possibly for the Chiefs. 2 Jolter points, and there was 1 Chief point on the play as Larry Lee got in there. So 2 for the Jolters, 1 for the Chiefs. Makes the score now 13-11. The Jolters lead the Chiefs. We have 34 seconds to go here in the second period, and then we'll have the girls coming out on the track for the third period of play here in the first half.
A lot of Jolter fans here, Walt. Quite a caravan came out from Cleveland and that area in buses and all. You really hear them tonight. You see them over in the corner, one whole section with their banners.
Here we go. 12 seconds left. Can they do it? If anybody can, it's Mike Gammon. 8 seconds. He's pouring it on. Chased in there by Charlie Gibson. 4 seconds. There's blocking in there. He's got 2. Bill Groh leaving Jerry Cattell and Joe Stafford on the deck. Mike Gammon over the top. He got the 2 points. It takes a man with the speed of Mike Gammon to take advantage of blocking like that with just a few seconds left on the clock. He circled that entire track and picked up 2 points for the Chiefs, and that ties it up. So it's a great play by Mike Gammon. Great blocking by Bill Groh. Those two really make a great tandem on this Chief club. And they've added Bob Woodbury, too. So remember, as he works his way in, what it's going to mean to this Chief team. Well, it's a great play and a great way to wind up that period. So the score here at the end of the second period of play is the Chiefs 13 and the Jolters 13. Walt Harris and Jerry Susser, there's part of the crowd here in the huge Cow Palace in San Francisco enjoying the action here between the Jolters and the Chiefs. And we have a tied-up game. We have it 13-13 as moving into the third period of play with the girls on the track. Cal Stevens is over there just a moment ago talking to Jan Vallow, giving them some advice. People there waiting for the action to get underway, and the same thing happens to the girls as Chris Ortiz, one of the referees, and Bill Groh says, hey, what about it? And Ortiz starts the action, and I think Cattell goes over to him now and says, who starts this game, you or Bill Groh? Anyway, here we go with the action now. First jam here in the third period of play in the first half. Some of these stations, you'll see the last half immediately. Some you'll see it next week, but you'll get a chance to see this complete championship round game. Rose Duran in the jam, number 4 for the Jolters. Now with her in the play, Dolores Roberson, 48, and she puts Duran into the rail. A great play by this rookie. Rose Duran is a pretty tough gal out there on skates. So the only threat now is a Chief skater, Dolores Roberson. All she needs is a blocker back there to help her. Pam Kaniva back there to block for the Jolters. Now Moreland is back there to help her teammate out. Carolyn Moreland trying to get a shot at Kaniva, talking to Roberson. Vallow's coming up and coming up fast for the Jolters on the play. Jan Vallow coming up. The Chiefs better make their bid and make it in a hurry. Right to the legs of Kaniva, Dolores Roberson. Then she cut off the jam before Vallow could get the lead. Goes outside and practically takes down the canvas we have around the base of the track, just over to the right of where she is as the skate hit it, ripped it. Spoiled the beauty of the track out there, but Roberson's all right, and that's the important thing. 14-13, that 1 point gives the Chiefs the lead here over the Jolters. When you're small, you take advantage of your lack of size out there, and that's what Roberson did that time.
She looks like she may be hurting. Well, she had a little trouble getting up. She's only 4'10", but really a very, very good skater.
Here we go. Looks like Barbara Baker coming out of that pack on the jam for the Jolters. Claudia Hobdy, number 49, in pursuit for the Chiefs. So once again, each team has a jammer out on the play. 14-13 is the score. Hobby with the block grabs the lead on Barbara Baker, who's had a tremendous year for the Jolters. And there's Baker working on Hobdy, and she puts her down. I say this Baker has had a tremendous year, really coming into her own. Before she was known as the daughter of Anna Big Red Jensen. Now she's known as Barbara Baker. Moreland there to block, 43. Carolyn's block on Baker. They used to be teammates in the Chiefs at one time. And working on Moreland, Jan Vallow. She's down. Baker has 1. She gets more. 2 more, 3. 3 points in all. Just like that, when Jan Vallow leads the charge, things have to give. And the Jolters go back in front, 16-14 over the Chiefs.
Jolters is a very resilient club. They never really seem to fold. You know, there's certain teams you keep pressure on, and you just know that they're not going to come back. But this Jolter team is a very, very strong team, and more importantly for the Jolter fans, it's a very, very young team.
They certainly look like a team of the future because they've got a lot of talent out there on that club. And as you said, it's young. So you look for a series in the East. Look for your Chiefs against this Jolter club. I know you'll get some action. Here we go. Duran again on the jam. Pam Kniever with her, number 6 for the Jolters. Chiefs are trying to shake out a couple of skaters. There's Debbie Thompson, bronchitis and all, out on the jam, number 44. Doctor said don't skate, but she said she had to skate this game. She missed the last one. She wanted to be in this championship round game. Debbie Thompson, 44, moving on Kaniva and Rose Duran. She's got company coming out in Carolyn Moreland. Thompson, deck. It's up to Moreland now. Judy McGuire and Claudia Hobby to block for the Chiefs. Moreland coming up fast, though. She's there. She grabs the lead. She cuts off the jam and kills the Jolter threat. And Vallow puts her on the rail, goes back, but thinks better of it. 16-14, the score remains. No score in that jam. It's the Jolters leading the Chiefs here in the third period of play in the first half. Backs being formed. The play will get underway again. As it's formed, the jammers start from the rear of the pack. They have the stripes in their helmets. Moreland there on the rail will rejoin the pack when it comes around. The jammers that stay in there, that don't go to the infield, allow that brief rest on the rail while the pack keeps moving. Then they rejoin it and the play goes again. Action all the time. Here we go. Judy McGuire's getting out of there. She gets a shove from Moreland, but in front of her is Barbara Baker. Blocked there by Judy. Baker cuts the inside, puts a block on Judy. Judy stays up. Another block by Baker. Oh, beautiful move by Judy. But Baker gets back. And again, these gals really skating out there. Beautiful action. Hey, that was it for Judy McGuire, and Baker hits the deck. So Judy McGuire skating by herself on the jam now for the Chiefs. So they're entirely on the offense. They don't have to worry about defense on this play, as the Jolters have nobody in scoring position. Jan Vallow back to the block again. Moreland trying to reach her teammate McGuire, but she cannot reach her. There's Baker with a block, and Baker was almost past. Vallow with a block in there on Judy McGuire. They're taking turns. Baker is shoving Moreland up ahead, so she cannot drop back there. And there's Baker with a block as the gal was set up by Vallow, but Vallow is getting a pointed finger from the referee. I don't know if she's holding or not. They're still pointing. What are they going to do about it? No points, so nothing was wrong. Just the long pointed finger by an official at Jan Vallow, who's helping Judy McGuire up now. Moreland comes back because she doesn't quite believe it. She wants to be there.
So if any of the fans would like to have a game scheduled in their area, and their city or area has an arena, gym, or a high school or a college that seats more than 2,500 people, and for non-commercial purposes, we've raised a lot of money for charities and booster clubs and such. Why not write to bookings, Post Office Box 1827, Oakland, California, 94604. We'll send you information on how you can have a game scheduled in your city featuring one of these top teams you see every week on television.
Vallow in the infield. Shoves Bob Woodbury. And Moreland comes after Vallow with a helmet. And a knee in there by Vallow, and Moreland, and a fist in there. This Vallow is tough. She was even taking on Woodbury out there. Woodbury was over there telling her off, I think, for what she had done to the Chief skaters on the track just a few seconds ago. Woodbury comes reeling out of there. 16-14 is the score. The Jolters lead, but they lose Jan Vallow. A 2-minute major penalty on her. That means they'll be without her for one jam, possibly two jams, depending on how fast they get them underway. Delay of game penalty on the Chiefs. They lose a skater. So they have to go with 4 skaters. The Jolters have 4, the Chiefs have 4. The Chiefs had the advantage there for just a moment, but they were called to delay a game and getting that jam underway. They're on the jam, moving. Noreen Gallagher, 42, and chasing the Rose Duran for the Jolters. The little Jolters lead here. They had the experienced jammer out on the play. They're moving on the pack. There's Baker with a block on Gallagher. Judy McGuire back there blocking for the Chiefs. Another block on Duran by Judy McGuire. This is a gal that can do it all on the bank track. Baker hits the infield. Has got skate trouble. Skate trouble by Baker, so I don't think they'll allow a point on the play. He's been replaced on the track. Judy McGuire still doing the job on Rose Duran. Gallagher spun into the rail. A block by Pam Kaniva. Judy McGuire moving on Kaniva now with a block, but couldn't get the shot at her. Time's running out. No score on the jam. Baker was passed, but she was going to the infield. Skate trouble, and you cannot pass a skater. Skate trouble for a point.
Of course, a lot of the Chief fans know that Barbara Baker skated with the Chiefs the past season, and she had an opportunity to skate right alongside Jan Vallow. As I say, a very young Jolter team. And you ask, why would a skater leave a team like the Chiefs, certainly world champions all these seasons? Well, It's not hard for Barbara Baker to see that there's Sandy Dunn and Carolyn Moreland and Judy McGuire, all with seniority on her, and this is a great opportunity for her, and I think she's going to develop well as a result of it, Walt.
She's certainly showing it, too. Here we go. It's Judy McGuire again for the Chiefs, who trail by 2. 16-14, the Jolters on top. 4 jammers are out. Gail Burt moving behind Judy McGuire, and Carolyn Moreland is also out for the Chiefs. Vallow on the track there, on the rail, just coming out of the penalty box. Lead jammer now is Carolyn Moreland. She's way out in front of Judy McGuire, slowing down Gail Byrne of the Jolters. So the only threat is the Chief skater, Carolyn Moreland, and her first obstacle is Jan Vallow, fresh out of the penalty box. Vallow there in the face mask with a shoulder block. Another block in there by Vallow on Carolyn Moreland. Moreland, 43, still trying. Again, Vallow, number 8, with that block. Teammate back there, Judy McGuire, now to help Carolyn Moreland out on the play. His time's running short on the jam, about 14 seconds, 13, 12, a whip around. She is by Vallow for a point. Then she's hit by Kneva, clobbered by Vallow. She almost got through. She throws off Vallow, throws off Kneva, and picks up a second point. Great individual effort by Carolyn Moreland on that play. And that ties up the score at 16-16 with a minute 10 to go here in the third period of play in the first half. Remember, I'll have an interview at the end of the half.
And I understand, Walt, you're going to be talking to the big man we were talking about before, Cal Stevens.
Be interesting to find out what he thinks of this Chief club. And the fact that Bob Woodbury is on it now. Don't forget, this is a championship round game. Some of you folks will see the last half immediately. Some will see it next week, but you'll get a chance to see this complete championship round game between the Chiefs and the Jolters. And 40 seconds to go here in the third period of play in the first half.
Jamie's trying to work their way out. Durant coming up for the Jolters starts it. Jamie and Penny come on the score.
Here we go, 30 seconds left. Well, the men scored in less time than this, but it was Mike Gammon, but it's his wife now, Judy McGuire, moving, 45. Rose Durant behind her, 22 seconds. They could do it. They'll need a block, though. McGuire is still leading. Vallow back there. Carolyn Moreland there for the Chiefs. There, Judy McGuire, 14 seconds, 13. Vallow backfired a block, and McGuire picks up a point. Vallow takes out her teammate, and Sandy Dunn out there, rubbing it in.
Well, they got their block, but unfortunately it was Jan Vallow and her own teammate.
Well, that can happen. They move so fast out there. One miscalculation, and that's the way it happens. And that's what happened to the Jolters on that play. That gave the Chiefs a chance to grab the lead here as we get ready to move into the fourth and final period of play in the first half, with the men taking over again. So a lot of action coming up here, and it should be a wild one right into the end of the first half in this championship round game. So the score here at the end of the third period of play in the first half is the Chiefs 17 and the Jolters 16. Walt Harris and Jerry Seltzer, and there's Sandy Dunn walking in front of the Chief bench. She'd like to be in action, but she got in a softball game. I think she sprained her ankle sliding into home. It was an all-star softball game featuring the skaters from the International Roller Derby League. Score here is 17-16 as we move into the fourth and final period of play here in the first half, and it's the Chiefs leading by 1, and that hasn't been always the case. The Jolters had the lead throughout most of the game, been tied several times. And this is Walt Harris and Jerry Seltzer calling the action, and we have Larry Lee on the jam for the Chiefs. Cal Stevens is whipping out Joe Stafford, number 7, the old bread and butter man for this Jolter club. He'll go wherever they need him. Stafford moving behind Larry Lee. Larry Lee right behind him. Larry Lee, a youngster, but boy, what a future he's got. Lee with the block on Stafford, moves in front. Bob Woodbury back there blocking on Stafford. Cattell blocking on Larry Lee. Cattell, number 9 for the Jolters. Woodbury, number 48 for the Chiefs. If you're just watching this game and haven't seen the Chiefs before in another game, well, Woodbury's their new member. Cattell, hard blocks on Larry Lee, who's fighting him, though. It's staying in there, battling. Woodbury can't eliminate Stafford. He could move up and give Larry Lee some help. Cattell working hard, leaning, now knee blocking Lee. Now Woodbury with a block on Cattell, and Lee slips by. Woodbury finally was able to deck Joe Stafford, and he moved up, put a block on Jerry Cattell, and Larry Lee quickly slipped by on the inside. They pick up a point for the Chiefs, and they lead the Jolters now 18-16 with 9:42 to go here in the fourth period in the first half.
It's obvious that Bill Grohl is trying to use Bob Woodbury, there's a shot of Joe Stafford, to take over some of these blocking chores. That this way I think Bill is going to have a little more strength at the end of the game, Walt.
Well, you have to pace yourself. It's going to be a wild last half in the championship round game. You have to shoot the works there. Can't hold anything back. Right now, Early John is out, number 47. And whipped after him in pursuit is Ted Tauscher of the Jolters, whipped out of there by Jerry Cattell. So John Early, number 47, moving here for the Chiefs on this play, who lead by 2. Rear the pack, Mike Gammon is out staring Cal Stevens. And John Early went by for a point, and Stevens is mad. Gammon really had Cal Stevens going, and it was like a staring contest. Who was going to make the first move? The only problem was Stevens was worried so much about Gammon's move that John Early slipped by for an easy point on the inside. So the Chiefs now lead 19-16 over the Jolters. That was a very mad Cal Stevens. Kind of embarrassed on that play.
8 minutes, 25 seconds.
There we go, this action coming away from the huge, world-famous Cow Palace, I might say, in San Francisco.
He starts the jam. Perez reaching back now.
Perez reaching back to whip out Bill Grohl on the jam, and Jerry Cattell goes out after him for the Jolters. So here we go. Perez started the jam. Then he whipped out Bill Grohl, slammed into the rail by Jerry Cattell. Cattell really got him that time. Lon Tiger moving on the pack now. Bob Woodbury is back there to block number 48. Now this will show you how important this is to this club. Bill Grohl still wobbly, but now that he has another big man in Bob Woodbury, they're not so vulnerable. Here comes Larry Lee on the jam. Cattell hits him, leaves him on the rail. Out on the floor he goes. Stafford leading the blocking for Cattell, moving on Woodbury. Down he goes. Cattell slips in for 2.
The official decision, 2.
Jolter points on the play. They got blocking back there ahead of Cattell, and they were able to pick up 2 points, passing Woodbury and Bill Grohl. So the score now 19-18. The Chiefs still lead by 1. Remember, this is a championship round game, and we're going to have an interview at the end of this half. We're going to talk to Cal Stevens, big, strong man of the Jolters, strongest man on skates today.
You know, the big question, of course, is can Bill Grohl handle Bob Woodbury? Here we are halfway through the first half, almost to the end of the first half, and there are no penalties on Bob Woodbury yet.
Oh, maybe look out, we're in trouble. Bill Grohl in trouble. But with the lead on the jam, John Early, he cut off the jam to keep Bill Grohl from being passed. There are 3 men working on Bill Grohl. Actually, Woodbury's been so calm. He's skating a good game in the first half, but he's so calm about it. He's not really at his best, I would say, and that might be hurting him away. He's wild, unpredictable. You have to control him to work him into your lineup, and maybe right now he's trying so hard to work in that I don't think Woodbury's going at his best yet.
Well, of course, this is only the second game Walt he skated for the Chiefs, and by the time they get back for their home series, and he'll be fully into that lineup.
They're going to open in the East against the Bay Area Bombers, but they'll also be meeting this wild Jolter club back there. Larry Lee whipped out of there on the jam by Lloyd Turpin, number 41, a blocker. The rear of the pack, Cattell decked by Woodbury. Bill Grohl gives him a knee as he starts to get up. That point will not be allowed, and Bill Grohl jumps on him. Boy, they're paying Cattell back, but because it was illegal blocking on Cattell, that'll be no point on the play for Larry Lee and the Chiefs.
Oh, we got a fight over here.
Cal Stevens now going after Bill Grohl, and he decks him. Big Cal Stevens, the muscle man, moving in to get revenge for Cattell, and leads Bill Grohl on the deck. So Cal Stevens will draw a penalty. Bill Grohl had already drawn a penalty. Each team down to 4 skaters now for this next jam.
You know, we don't teach skaters how to fight, but we do teach them how to skate. And if you'd like to learn how to get into this game, write to Roller Derby Training Centers, Post Office Box 1827, Oakland, California 94604, and we'll send you information on the training center nearest you. You notice on that last play, Walt, all those Jolter fans from Cleveland, they were just up on their feet when Cal Stevens came after Bill Grohl there.
Here we go. Bill Grohl's now in the penalty box. Cal Stevens in the penalty box. On the jam, Charlie Gibson with Mike Gammon, 45. Rear of the pack, Cattell, Robert, somebody with the help from Stafford. I think it must be Woodbury. There's Bill Grohl getting in there. He's grabbed from behind by Cattell and Cloud. He turns around now. They're going at it. There goes Cattell, clear over the training table as Bill Grohl got one in on him. Cattell and Stafford went after Woodbury with Bill Grohl in the penalty box. It didn't take Bill long to get over there and help Woodbury out. Boy, things are getting rough in this championship round game between the Jolters and the Chiefs.
1 minute penalty, holding Stafford. 1 minute Jerry Cattell holding.
Cattell draws a penalty. Stafford draws a penalty.
Number 7, JoJo Stafford. And an additional minute fighting number 49, Bill Grohl.
And Bill Grohl got an additional 1 minute penalty for getting in the middle of that fight.
Of course, you can't have 3 members of a team in the penalty box. I think the Jolters are going to realize that in a minute.
Jolters will field only 3. Jolters will field only
Stevens' time is up, I believe. Chiefs only have 3 skaters out there. I thought they were entitled to 4. I thought Bill Grohl's the only one to do that additional penalty. Chiefs are supposed to have 4 out there, and they only have 3. So 2 men come on the track.
Now they got 5.
1 leaves, Mike Gammon stays out there. So they got 4. They better get going so they can take advantage of the lack of manpower by the Jolters. The longer it takes them to get that back organized, the more that favors the Jolters. Here we go. Joe Perez getting out of there, Mike Moore in pursuit. So each team has a jammer out on the play. Perez with the block on Mike Moore. Moore stays on his skates. Moore not too big, but he's sure solidly built. Mike Moore, number 4. He put too much into that one, and Perez sidestepped him. Joe Perez moving on a pack now. Back there to block is Cal Stevens. Mike Moore in there again. Grabs the lead in the jam. He's blocked out by Larry Lee. Cal Stevens puts Perez on the rail. Now he's moving up to give Mike Moore some help. Moving on Woodbury. Woodbury gets away from him. Woodbury is passed. Mike Moore spun around him. He cut off the jam, but he did not have the lead, so that didn't take. Skaters are out of the penalty boxes now. That's why there are more skaters on the track. Moore is still blocking on Larry Lee. Jam cut off. Let's see what they say about points. 1 each way. 1 each way. So that means the score on the scoreboard is the Chiefs 20 and the Jolters 19 with 2:10 to go here in the first half.
I want to remind everyone to stay tuned at the end of the first half. Cal Stevens will be on hand. The Chiefs, well, just don't look as disciplined as they usually do. They're not working the patterns they are, and I'm sure that at halftime Bill Grohl is going to get on them for that. Of course, it could be that the Jolters are disrupting them because that very aggressive style the Jolters skate.
Here we go again. This could be the last jam in the first half. Chiefs are going to get the first man out. John Early is out of there. Mike Gammon up front goes down with Cattell on top of him. They both get up. They're battling in that pack in this game. There's Gammon with a block on Stafford. Bill Grohl at the rear of the pack taking a jump block, both knees on Cal Stevens. He's got him going, and here comes John Early. Bill Grohl's got Cal Stevens going. John Early coming up, has a point. Now a block on Stafford, and spinning around him for a second point is John Early. He has 2, and Stafford's called for grabbing him. There's more blocking. He might get 4, and Stevens is coming after him. Stevens puts him on the rail and throws him over the rail. Gammon goes to the jump block at Stevens. Stevens gets out of the way, and John Early is out on the cement floor. Stevens left him there. That could be 3 points. 2 on the pass, could be 1 on a penalty. Here we go. Jam still going. Mike Gammon on the jam now. Gammon scoring. No, Stevens should have been in the penalty box. You can't pass a man that should be in the penalty box. It was by Cattell, though. I don't know. They could have as many as 6 points here. Let's figure that one. The official have to unravel that one. Stevens was passed, but he should have been in the penalty box. I don't know what they're going to say. Could be as many as 6 points for the Chiefs. Could be their biggest play of the game. Waiting now for the public address announcer. He's getting the word from the officials over there. Cal Stevens is taking his own wastebasket over there.
The official decision. There was a 1 minute penalty, JoJo Stafford holding. 1 point awarded on the penalty. A 1 minute penalty, Cal Stevens. Illegal use of hands. 1 point
That makes
awarded
4 points. Let's see how many more they say. I'm listening to the PA announcer.
Early on the pass. Gammon picked up a total of 3 Chief points.
Should be 7 then.
Credit for the 2 in the penalty box. There were a total of 8. New York
8 points. Well, the way that added up, they had the 6. But because of the penalties, the Jolters should have been down to 3 skaters. And when the 3 were passed, they got credit for the 2 in the penalty box, while they were still on the track. So wild, unpredictable plays. The score here at the end of the first half, and stay tuned for the interview, is the Chiefs 28 and the Jolters 19. With me, Cal Stevens, the head man of this Jolter club, meeting the Chiefs in this championship round game. And up until that last jam of the half here, Cal, it was a close game, and that gave the Chiefs a big edge. Are you going to be able to come back from that in the last half?
Yeah, we kind of fell apart in that last jam. I think I have to get my team back together here. I'm sure we can come back and get our lead back where we had it.
You think that the fact that Woodbury's been added to this lineup and Bill Grohl seems to be keeping them under control has made a difference to the Chiefs?
It's definitely made a difference. The Chiefs are much stronger now. There's with Woody jamming and Mike jamming. It's kind of hard to keep both of them down at the same time.
Who's the toughest? Let's take a man like Bob Woodbury. He's big and he's tough. There's no question about it. But then Mike Gammon has this tremendous sense of balance out there.
For me, it would be Mike, because he's smaller and he's can weave in and out of me, faster. With Woody, I can kind of keep up with Woody a little bit.
But being as strong as you are, if it is Mike, he's small, you don't hit as hard, do you?
Oh yeah, I hit just as hard.
I mean, because he's smaller, you don't ease up?
No, that's the name of the game.
I thought a good sportsmanship, you take it easy on a little guy, Cal, but...
He's trying to win, I'm trying to win.
Mm-hmm. So you just as soon put him over the rail as not?
Just as soon put him over the rails, I put Woodbury or Bill Grohl.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have a big physical team. Is that the way you like him to skate?
Yeah, I like the big brute team, and I also like to have one little guy in there as a jammer. And I think my team is evenly balanced. It's just the way I like it.
This is a championship round game. You figure you can come back in the last half and win it. But let's say, what about a series? You will have a series coming up in the East against the Chiefs on their home ground. In an overall series, would your strategy change?
Yeah, it would change because, the championship games, it's just got this one-shot deal, and teams are usually worked up a little bit. But when you're in a series type thing, you can kind of relax a little bit. The team relaxes a little bit, and you can really you don't have to give so much in one time.
But you don't plan, say, go out and put them out of action in the first couple of games, even if we lose, then we can come back and win the rest of the games and win the series?
Well, you try to, you start out weaking them out slowly, so by the time it's the last couple of games coming up, they're pretty weak.
Who are you going to pick on in the last half in this game?
I don't know yet.
You don't know. Okay, Cal, thanks for talking.
All right, thanks, Walt.
Cal Stevens, the head man of the Jolters, a big physical club, and they have a series coming up in the East in the very near future against the Chiefs, and that should be a wild one because men like Cal Stevens, Stafford, and Jerry Gattell look out. Well, the score at the end of the half, the Chiefs 28 and the Jolters 19. This is Walt Harris speaking from the Cow Palace in San Francisco.